Hello student. Last lecture we have seen about the general information regarding the weed. So, today we shall start the next topic, that is the classification of weed. So, in this topic, that is in the weed topic, classification is important because of the productivity of crop. Here, classification of the weeds, there are, I think, 30,000 species of weed. They are present around the world. 30,000 species. You see here, these species they are present on the world, and weeds can be classified into different ways. Means there are different methods to classify the weed. The classification that help in selecting weed control. This is important. Weed control method are based on following things or following types. Means here the classification is simply based upon the number one is life cycle, then number two place of occurrence, number three plant family, number four host dependence, and fifth is the soil type. Means that these are the important methods on which the classification of weed is put forth by the scientists. That is, first is life cycle, then second is the place of occurrence, third is the plant family, fourth is the host dependence, and fifth is the soil type. So we shall see one by one. That is classification on the basis of life cycle. Means the plant complete their life cycle in Kharif season or in Rabi season. Means these weeds are said to be the annual herb. Then second is biennial herb. They take 2 seasons. Means 2 seasons to complete their life cycle. And third is perennial. Means it remains years together under the soil. Means perennial means their life cycle, or they extend their life cycle, life period for more than 2 years. Means it remains years together under the soil, and they complete their life cycle in 2 seasons. In annual weed or in Kharif season, weed complete their life cycle in Kharif season only. For example, is agara. Then in Rabi season also, weeds grow during the winter season. Means they start their life cycle in winter season and finish their life cycle before summer season. Means before the summer. For example, pisola. In Gudi Padwa, generally the pisola is used for bathing. Means before bathing, the pisola is put in our legs, and then it is used. Means there are some things that is kept. Means pisola. Then is biennial weeds. They take their life cycle in 2 seasons. Means it may be Kharif or Rabi. Example is the jungli gobi. And next is perennial weeds. Perennial weeds are the weeds which are mostly present. Means they are present under the soil. This is in short about the classification of weed based on their life cycle. Then second is the place of occurrence. Important means where they are occurred. Means next is the place of occurrence. Second, classification according to place of occurrence. Means weeds can be put in different categories on the basis of place of occurrence. Means on the basis of place of occurrence, they are again put in a different categories. Means here 5 to 6 categories are there. That is number 1 means classification according to place of occurrence, in which number 1 is weeds of cropland. Weeds of cropland. Example is mostly kodo. Kodo is commonly weed which is present in cropland. Then second is the weeds of pasture and grazing animal. Weeds of pasture and grazing animals. Example is हरियाली. हरळी ज्या ठिकाणी आपल्याला उगवलेली दिसते त्या ठिकाणी मोस्टली द grazing animals are there, and generally they eat the harli. Means this is the second. Then third, weeds along with water channels. Example is जलकुंभी. आपण कोल्हापूर म्हणजे पंचगंगा नदी जी आहे किंवा ज्या ठिकाणी सर्वात जास्त पाणी आहे अशा ठिकाणी जलकुंभी वनस्पती आढळते. आणि these are actually the weed along with the water channels किंवा water canals. ज्या अशा ठिकाणी जास्त प्रमाणात आपल्याला जलकुंभी आढळते, म्हणजे ज्या ठिकाणी पाण्याचा स्रोत सर्वात जास्त आहे. त्यानंतर नेक्स्ट इज वीड्स अलॉंग रोड साइड्स. वीड्स अलॉंग रोड साइड्स. गोखरू. एक्झाम्पल इज गोखरू. Then fifth is the weeds of waterland. Weeds of waterland. Example is bear. Then next is the sixth is weeds of forest land. Weeds of forest land. Example is gokru. Or example is ghaneri. Mostly ghaneri is generally sown in the forest land. And lastly, seventh is the weeds of lawns and orchids. Weeds of lawns and orchids. Example is हरियाली. HARIYALI means these are the types of weed according which is classified according to place of occurrence. म्हणजे या ठिकाणी weeds of cropland, generally kurdu is there. Weeds of pasture and grazing animal, generally हरियाली is generally there. Then weeds along with water channel. जलकुंभी मी आता सांगितलं जसं की मोठमोठ्या नद्यामध्ये जनरली जलकुंभी वनस्पती फार प्रमाणात वाढते, आणि ही ॲक्च्युअली इट इज नथिंग बट दी वीड अलॉंग विथ रोड साईड्स. गोखरू इज देअर. देन फॉरेस्ट लँडमध्ये घाणेरीमध्ये वापरलं जातं, आणि ज्या ठिकाणी लॉन्स आहे अशा ठिकाणी जनरली हरियाली वापरली जाते. Then next is third is classification of the weeds according to plant family. Classification according to the plant family. Plant family. This is the third type based on the classification based on the plant family. Means weeds are classified according to their family to which they belong. That is number one is Gramineae. 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 Example is Cans. Then second is Solanaceae. Solanaceae. Example is Cateli. Example Cateli. Then the third is Euphorbia. EUPHORBRACEAE. And example is Boridudni. Boridudhari. Then fourth type is the Liliaceae. Family Liliaceae. Example is the Bari. And the next is PG. PIZI PG. Fifth is the Leguminaceae. Family Leguminaceae. Example is Sanji. SENJR. Sanji. And sixth is family Compositae. Family Compositae. Example is Pillow. Or second example is Landga, generally, which is present on roadsides. Means depending upon the plant family, depending upon according to the plant family, they are also classified into these six classes: family Gramineae, family Solanaceae, family Euphorbia, family Liliaceae, family Leguminaceae, and family Compositae. And these are the examples of single example of this family, means they are based on plant family. Then next is according to the host dependence. Most of the plants they are generally host dependence, means according to classification according to the host dependence. Host dependence means on which they grow. That is number one is first is the stem parasite. Stem parasite. Example is Amarvale. Example commonly named Cuscuta. Amarvale or Cuscuta. Second is the root parasite. Root parasite. Example is Striga. And third is independent. Independent. Example is Hiran. HRRAN KURI. Hiran Kori. Means this is the these are the three types of the weeds generally based upon the host plant. आपण बऱ्याचशा ह्याच्यात पाहतो की स्टेम पॅरासाइट जे आहे amarvel ज्याला आपण कसकुटा असं म्हणतो, which grow on host. Then some are root parasite, त्याच्यामध्ये स्ट्रायगा, generally स्ट्रायगा grow on the root. And third is independent, that is the Hirankuri is a common example. Then third is according to the, or fourth is the according to, fourth is according to, or fifth, fourth is according to host, fourth according to the host dependence, and fifth is the according to the soil type. Fifth according to the soil type means which according to soil type. Number one is the weeds of black soil. Weeds of black soil. Example is cans. Then second is the weeds of sandy soil. Weeds of sandy soil. Example is chirchiri. Example chirchiri. And third is weeds of ill-drained soil. Example is lavala. Means on the basis of the soil types, they are classified into these three types of soil. That is weeds of black soil, cans, weeds of sandy soil, that is chirchiri, and third is weeds of ill-drained soil, and common name is the lavala. This is about the classification. Means we have seen the classification of the weeds depending upon, means they are classification help in selecting the weed control method. They are based on number one, that is life cycle, then second is place of occurrence, third is plant family, fourth is host dependence, and last is the soil type. Means we have seen about in brief the classification. Then next important topic is advantages or benefits of the weeds. Next, advantages or benefits. Advantages or benefits of the weeds. Means here they add nutrient in the soil. Is number one benefit. They add nutrient in the soil. This is the first benefit of weed. Then many weeds have luxuriant leafy growth, and when buried in the soil, green manure is obtained. Means mostly green manure is also obtained from the soil, and considerable amount of humus and plant nutrient in the soil. Means both the things, green manure as well as humus and the nutrient, they are added by some weeds. Then weeds of leguminous weed also fix atmospheric nitrogen. Means the rhizobium type of bacteria mostly absorb atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into ammonical or nitrate form. Means this is also helpful for the soil. Means this is the advantage of the benefit. Then the next is weed check, wind and water erosion. They mostly check, means control, check the wind and water, wind and water erosion. Means when the soil or land is slopy land, then at that time mostly the erosion of the water as well as wind is generally done by the weeds. Then weeds are useful as a fodder. For example, fodder is used, means weeds are useful as a fodder generally for the animals. Means, for example, hariali is a common example of the fodder. Then next, some weeds are medicinal values. Some are medicinal values. For is some weeds have medicinal value. So this is also benefit of the weed or advantage of the weed, and some have economic importance. For example, lavara is used for udbatti production. Means बऱ्याचशा वेळेस आपण पाहतो की उदबत्तीचं नॅचरली it is obtained from the lavala type of the lavala weed, and some weeds are used as an ornamental plant. Means fifth, some are used as ornamental plants. For example, the ghaneri. For example, ghaneri is used as an ornamental, or commonly we call it as a showy plant. So this is in short about the advantages of the weeds. Then next is about the last, that is disadvantages. Disadvantages of the weed. Last, disadvantages of the weeds. Disadvantages of weed, त्याच्यामध्ये आपल्याला जवळपास 6-7 डिसएडव्हांटेजेस आहेत. त्याच्यामध्ये नंबर 1 इज रिडक्शन ऑफ क्रॉप यील्ड. नंबर 1 इज रिडक्शन ऑफ क्रॉप यील्ड. दिस इज द first disadvantage. Then second is increasing cost cultivation. Increase in the cost cultivation. This is also the increase in cost cultivation is the second disadvantage or loss. Then the quality of field produce is reduced. The quality of field produce is reduced. Fourth type is the quality of the livestock product is reduced. Then fifth is the weeds check the flow of water in irrigation canals. canals. Then next is the six which are harmful. Which are harmful to human beings. Means they cause certain disease. And last is the weeds reduce the value of land. So these are the some disadvantages. Means it reduce the crop yield. This is also most important and disadvantage. Then they increase the cost of cultivation. Means tillage is compulsory, and for that certain economic importance is also there, because they increase the cost of cultivation. Then next is the quality of field produce is reduced. Means next, the quality of the livestock production, means the animals which are generally depend upon the crop plant, this is also reduced. Then weeds are harmful to human being, means they cause disease to the human being. And lastly, the weeds reduce the value of the land. These are some disadvantages of the wheat. Okay, thanks.